हेलो फ्रेंड्स, आज हम लोग देखते हैं रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ ऑफ नर्स इन ऑपरेशन थिएटर एंड प्री एंड पोस्ट ऑपरेटिव केयर के बारे में। इसके आगे भी हमने ऑपरेशन थिएटर के बारे में देखा था। अगर आपको और भी वीडियो देखना है तो प्लीज़ मेरे इस चैनल को लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें। नाउ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ ऑफ ए नर्स इन ऑपरेशन थिएटर। In that, the whole surgical experience is divided into three parts or phases: pre-operative phase, intraoperative phase, and post-operative phase. Now, pre-operative phase, it is the period between the decision to do the surgery and the client being shifted to operation theatre table. Then, intraoperative phase, it is the period from the time the client is shifted in the OT table and later admitted to the post-anesthesia or recovery room. Then post-operative phase, it is the period between the admission of the client to the recovery room till the healing is complete. Now, pre-operative care of a patient in general includes the first one is the psychological preparation. In that, give full information about the surgery, in the type of surgery, consequences, problems to be faced, expected duration of hospitalizations, expected time of resuming duty, cost of surgery and treatment, investigations done before surgery and its purpose, along with the necessary arrangements to be made about the family, financial matters and work. Now, eradicate fear of operation from the patient. For that, allow the patient to ask questions, introduce him with a patient who has undergone with a same surgery and recovered, explain about anesthesia, its consequences, pain management after surgery, and time of taking meal. Then let the patient see or meet the persons, places, and equipments involved in this operation. Then start the procedure with an explanation. Answer to the questions of a patient must be in a language that the patient understands. For example, in a patient's mind, questions are like, will complications occur? Will my surgery be successful? Do I really trust my surgeons? How long will my recovery take? Then meet the spiritual needs of the patient. For that, help the patients to meet the ministers of his religion if requested by the patient. Then obtain informed consent. For that, after explaining the nature of the operation and anesthesia, obtain the consent from the patient. Then never force the patient or guardian to give their consent. Explain the complications that may occur when the patient is under anesthesia. Then easy and understandable language should be used in the consent form. Then build up the general health of the patient and correction of the disease process for speedy recovery. For that, assist in doing physical examination of a patient, obtain past and present medical surgical history, collect the baseline data of a patient, then provide fluids if the patient is dehydrated, then arrange for blood donors and diet plan according to the weight of a patient. Then about the health education, we have to provide health education regarding the maintenance of personal hygiene of a patient, then active passive exercise, then quit smoking and deep breathing and coughing exercise of a patient, and limit the number of visitors during and after the surgery. Now surgical preparation of the skin and the patient on the evening before. For that, remove all jewelries of a patient, then remove the nail polish, lipstick and makeup in a patient, then save the part to be operated, then psychological support and reassurance to prevent fear and anxiety in a patient. Then other, paint the area using a safe antiseptic. For example, Murochrome. Enema is ordered in the evening when the surgery involves like a gastrointestinal, pelvic, perineal and perianal regions. Then light diet should be taken and tranquilizers like diazepam is given at the bedtime to ensure good sleep in a patient. Then preparation of the patient on the day of surgery includes the help the patient to go toilet and for mouth care, remove hairpins, clips, ornaments, false teeth, then ask the patient to be kneel per mouth, then clean the operation site and again paint it and then fix it by covering with a sterile towel, then stop all medications unless specially ordered by the surgeons. Now sending the patient to operating room includes administered the pre-medications to the patients 1 hour before surgery so that to reduce anxiety in the patient. Then before giving the pre-medications, check and record the vital signs of a patient, then change the patient's dress and put on hospital gown. Then write the patient's name, age, ward, bed number, diagnosis, hospital number. Then ask the patient to void just before sending the patient to OT. Then send all the reports and patient's chart and attendant up to the operation theatre. Now, intraoperative care of a patient. Intraoperative nurses are responsible for the safety and well-being of the patient. It includes the coordination role of the operating room personnel and activities of the circulating nurse and the scrub nurse. Now, responsibilities of a scrub nurse includes the role of scrub nurse includes reviews anatomy and physiology and the surgical procedure and assist with the preparation of the room, then scrubs gowns and gloves self and other members, then assist surgeon by passing over the instruments and maintains the sterile and the orderly surgical field, then assist with the draping procedures, then keeps track of irrigation solutions used for calculation of a blood loss, then keeps the instrument table neat, then takes part in a sponge needle and instrument counts, then identifies and preserves specimens properly. Now, responsibilities of a circulating nurse includes identifies, assess and admit the patient, keep the scrub nurse with supplies, for example suture materials, dressings, then open sterile supplies before and during the case, then position the patient on the surgery table, takes part in sponge and instruments count and their documentation, then ties the gowns of scrub personnel, then adjusts the surgical lights, attaches the suction apparatus and check to see its functions, then handles all non-sterile equipment in the room during surgery, then accompanies the patients to the recovery room, then checks the chart and relates the patient data and measures the blood and fluid loss, then documents and preserves any specimens received during the surgery, then reports pertinent information to the recovery area nurse. Now, post-operative care includes preparation of a post-anesthetic bed and receiving the patient. In that, adequate number of people should be there to transfer the patient without disturbing the devices attached to them. Then ask the theatre staff for any complications that occurred in a OT. Then check all vital signs, color of skin, nails and compare with a pre-operative data. Then patients should be kept covered in order to prevent draft. Then patients should not be left alone to prevent injury. Then observe the patient for swallowing reflex. Then observe the functioning of the devices attached to the patient and check doctor's order for any further instructions. Now, maintaining a patent airway. For that, allow the airway to remain in place until the patient begins to waken and is trying to eject the airway. The airway keeps the passage open and prevents the tongue from falling backward and obstructing the airway passage. Then aspirate excessive secretions when they are heard in the nasopharynx and oropharynx. Now, assessing status of circulatory system includes take a vital sign per protocol until patient is well stabilized, then monitor intake and output closely, then recognize the early symptoms of shock or hemorrhage, includes cool extremities, decreased urine output, slow capillary refill, then lowered blood pressure, narrowing pulse pressure, increased heart rate, initiate oxygen therapy to increase the oxygen availability from the blood, then place the patient in shock position with his feet elevated unless contraindicated. Now, maintaining adequate respiratory functions. For that, place the patient in lateral positions with neck extended and upper arm supported on a pillow. Then turn the patient every 1 to 2 hours to facilitate breathing and ventilations. Then encourage the patient to take a deep breaths, use a incentive spirometer. Then assess the lung fields frequently by auscultations. Then periodically evaluate the patient's orientation, response to name and command. Then assessing thermoregulatory status. For that, monitor temperature per protocol to be alert for malignant hyperthermia or to detect the hypothermia. Report a temperature over 37.8 degrees centigrade. Then monitor for post-anesthesia shivering. Then provide a therapeutic environment with a proper temperature and humidity. Now, maintaining adequate fluid volume. For that, administered IV solutions as ordered. Monitor evidence of fluid and electrolyte imbalance. Then evaluate mental status, skin color and turgor. Recognize signs of hypovolemia, for that decreased BP, decreased urine output, decreased CVP line, then increased pulse. Then for the hypervolemia, we have to check increased BP, changes in lung sounds, then increased central venous pressures, and monitor the intake and output chart. Now, minimizing complications of skin impairment includes perform hand washing before and after contact with the patient, then inspect dressings routinely and reinforce them if necessary, then record the amount and type of wound drainage, then turn patient frequently and maintain good body alignment. Then maintaining safety, for that keep the side rails up until the patient is fully awake, then protect the extremity into which IV fluids are running so needle will not become accidentally dislodged. Avoid nerve damage and muscle strain by properly supporting and padding pressure areas. Then recognize that the patient may not be able to complain of injury such as the pricking of an open safety pin or clamp that is exerting pressure. Then check dressing for constrictions. Then diet of the patient includes start normal diet except for patients undergone abdominal surgery. Then patient with abdominal surgery but did not involve the intestine or stomach can have clear fluids, then it can change into soft diet and then normal diet. Patients with specific disease must continue to take their special diet, for example patient with a diabetes or hypertension. और लास्ट में हमको पेशेंट्स को हेल्दी लाइफस्टाइल के बारे में बताना है. फॉर देट नो स्मोकिंग, फॉर द डाइट, एक्सरसाइज, नो ड्रग्स यूज्ड, देन लाफ्टर थेरेपी, पर्सनल हाइजीन, मेडिटेशन एंड वाटर. ओके, थैंक यू फ्रेंड्स. अगर आपको मेरा ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो प्लीज़ इसे लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें. और इसके बारे में अगर कोई कमेंट हो तो प्लीज़ कमेंट बॉक्स में कमेंट करें.